Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause to the dancer that just performed Sarfraz dance. Good morning, everyone. I am Wanda Ilaila, and on behalf of Blackarrow Conference, I would like to extend my warm welcome to the BlockBali Conference being conducted here today, 17th of November, in Bali, Indonesia. We welcome you all and we thank you for your cooperation. We have an interesting of 18 speakers lined up today. We have 2 tea coffee breaks in the exhibition area downstairs, and the lunch will be served at 1 p.m. in the restaurant beside the pool. I hope you enjoy the conference and feel free to contact our registration desk if you need any assistance. Without much further ado, I would like now to call our first presenter, Mr. Peter Lim, Chief Security Officer of PLMP FinTech. Peter is the co-founder and Chief Strategy Officer of PLMP FinTech, Asia's biggest blockchain technology center housing 60,000 square feet, end-to-end ICO launch advisory, blockchain developer school, crypto exchange, crypto investment OTC, and also the fastest growing blockchain company in Asia. PLMP has expanded regionally and has 5 offices across Southeast Asian countries. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Peter Lim.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is my 3rd trip to Bali, and I learned one thing. Before you start anything, you must greet Bali in the Bali style. Om Swastiastu. Good morning. First, I'd like to thank Blackarrow and thanks for this very grand event. This is my second time coming to Indonesia. I did once in Jakarta and now in Bali. And this time I'm proud to become the title partner of this event. Allow me to share with you about our company and what we are doing in the Southeast Asia region. Okay, as you know, I'm the Chief Strategy Officer. My name is Patel. A little bit about my background. I spent 33 years in the infocom industries and 23 years in the money markets industry. So I'm quite familiar with technologies. Okay, and over the last 33 years, I have experienced 5 innovations. Okay, we have the computer, right? Computer replaces typewriters, right? Today, you want to find a typewriter, you go to the museum. Then we have the e-commerce, the internet. Internet replaces everything that we do in our life. Now with a click of a button, you can get information. Then of course you have the .coms and the infocom, that is where your handphones comes in. Alright, that's where we communicate. The way we communicate has changed. Then of course recently we have the e-commerce. That's how the giant Alibaba comes to earth. Okay, and we changes the way we shop. But right now, okay, in the present year, especially these 2 years, blockchain has become very dominant. A lot of people are talking about blockchain. There are more blockchain events in the world than any other events combined. In Singapore, we have it almost every day. And so what blockchain will do to our industry? I believe blockchain will change the way the internet, okay, the infocom, okay, the e-commerce, all combines. It will change the way we all communicate. And allow me to share with you what kind of changes do we expect in the future. Okay, we just celebrated our first anniversary in Singapore on the 11th of November. That was last week. Okay, so okay. PMP FinTech is a blockchain and financial technology company. We was found in last year only with a very clear mission. Okay, our mission is to embark on the revolutionary SME empowering program comprising of 3 strategies. Number 1, we optimize with technology. Number 2, we scale our operations in the region. And number 3, we dominate market shares. Okay, if you look at us, we are like the Uber of blockchain. Okay, and this is what we plan to do. Okay, right over here. Okay, this is our Singapore office. This is a whole building that's dedicated to blockchain. Okay, anybody here who wants to visit Singapore, just give us a call. My chief of FinTech and my chief of blockchain are downstairs. We have a booth. And my STO project manager is also downstairs. Please feel free to visit us later. We can share with you more. This is our Indonesia office in Bekasi. My Indonesian investors are with me today. All right, they are here also. We can talk to them. We are sitting right over there. All right, we have our Thailand office. Okay, it's in Bangkok. All right, all this building belongs to us. We have KL. We started this month, last month rather, to be exact, in October. We will be operational in December. And we have Shanghai. I just signed a 10,000 square foot blockchain office in the Bay Valley of Shanghai. It is so-called claimed the blockchain Silicon Valley of Shanghai. Okay, we are the first foreign country to have a 10,000 square foot office in the Shanghai Bay Valley. Okay, and it's from Singapore. Okay, I'll be in Japan next week to set up my Japan office and Korea in January. So we are growing very fast and we are opening up our office in CMLV region, Cambodia, Myanmar, Laos and Vietnam, all in the first quarter of 2019. Okay, our company, presently we have 53 employees in Singapore. We have 9 advisors and 7 country managers. We have a very balanced team. A lot of our advisors are not blockchain only, but from the investments, from the bank, from the properties. Okay? Alright, okay, this is video. We are also, I come from Singapore. PMP FinTech is based in Singapore. Singapore is a compliance country. Okay, we are in the process of applying for the CMSL license so that we can issue STO projects. Okay, and we also have the RMO license, which will be allowing us to list security tokens. In Singapore today, there isn't any security token exchange. There are plenty of digital exchange. Okay, but there are 33 digital exchanges in Singapore. We are also in the committee of the digital exchange in Singapore. But security token exchange, no. Our government would likely to issue the first license very soon in 2019. Okay, this is our center. So practically we are the first company in the whole world who we name our building BTC Center. Okay, all right, and we set benchmark. This whole center is dedicated to blockchain technology, product solutions, and educations. Okay, this is some of the facilities that you see. We have classroom that can sit 500 people. We have classroom that can sit 100 people. Okay. Okay, this is my Malaysia office. All right, they will specialize in the similar things, in the blockchain aspects of education and product development. Okay, this is the Shanghai office that we have taken. Okay, and I'll be traveling next week to Shanghai because there's a big event in Shanghai also. And this is we just had our first anniversary. We are very lucky. We are very fortunate that the Prince of Cambodia has endorsed on our projects, and they have signed an MOU with us to develop a whole series of blockchain collaborations. So exactly what market are we serving? Earlier on I say we are focusing on SME. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let me share with you, there are 445 million SME in the world. All right, as at 2018, mid-2018. Of the 445 million, 95% it comprised of 95% of all the companies and hiring 80% of the workforce and contributing 60% of GDP. Okay, now let me ask you this question: how many SME today has embarked on blockchain? How many? Anybody? 1%? 0.5. Yes, sounds like a very nice figure. Okay, if you go back to 1985, that's where the computer gets started, and now it's 2018, right? Tell me, how many percent was back then and how many percent was now? Almost every company has a computer, right? So imagine we are now in 1985 for computer, as in blockchain. What will happen to the industry 30 years from today? If every company starts to embark on blockchain technologies. So if we are looking at a very big global opportunities for technology transformation. In fact, we are already very much in the digital economy. So there's a lot of opportunity for us, okay, to grow this business. Whoever holds the crystal ball in solving the funding gap. You see, there are 445 million SME. Every year, there has 2.5 trillion funding gap every year. Whoever has the ability to help them embark on blockchain, okay, and allowing this company to grow, okay, you are in for a very long-term business. Okay, probably perhaps, okay, the birth of another Microsoft. Okay, now if you look at Southeast Asia, so for our company, we are not focusing on the Western countries. We are focusing Southeast Asia and Asia only because it is the fastest growing economy in the region. Okay, in the East Asia, we have 188 million SME. In the South, all right, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, we have about 78. So when you look at the numbers, we have about 266 million SME. Now, all I need to do is to provide blockchain technology and solution to 1% of these companies. Is 2.6 million SMEs. Okay, if each SME were to invest, okay, 100,000 on the blockchain technology, just imagine those numbers that will build the next giant of blockchains. And this is our blockchain ecosystem where we bring the SMEs or the startups. Okay, last year 2017 was a year of the startups, right? Okay, and that's year of the ICO, but due to all the bad sentiments and all the good reasons, it didn't really pick it up. Okay, now for 2018 is coming to the end, so I see 2019 will be the year of the STO, security token offering. So our company is very well prepared for it. We have a team of people that can issue STO license. Okay, that means we can help companies or SME that has assets, that has factory, they have properties to go into security token offering. Okay, not only that, we also offer a full suite of blockchain facilities like blockchain exchanges, okay, even STO exchanges, and of course, in all technology revolution, the first thing that you must always focus on is education. You need to educate, okay, the SME to empower them with the ability to think forward of what they need. So we have the biggest educational center in Singapore. We have a 16,000 square foot education facilities. Okay, we welcome you to visit our office in Singapore. We are happy to host you around. And of course, the whole suite, not only education, for example, you have a power plant. You want to blockchain your power plant, you come and see us. We help you, we can even fund you. Okay, we have funding facilities, we can fund you. If you want to modernize your maybe dairy farms, you want to modernize your supply chain, we can provide you the blockchain technologies. Okay? And at the end of the day, okay, we are the company, in fact, I think we are the very few company in Asia or in Singapore that has our own blockchain technology. It's called Cryptanium blockchain technology. It's a hybrid technology. It's customizable it's specialized in customization for SME. You can do both ICO and STO projects. It has zero transaction costs and there's no mining requirement. Okay, so if you were to do a comparison, we have a 500 TPS speed per network, and we can go up to 2,000. All right. We have launched our token. It's already in the exchange. It's now trading at 30 cents as of November 2018. Okay, in comparison to the rest of the like Bitcoin, Ethereum, you know, they are much slower, but because they started first, so you can see the potential today. Of course, I think yesterday Bitcoin was testing a low, right? But it recovered of 5,003. Okay, so this is the our blockchain ecosystem. As you can see, we're able to do various of applications and customization. All right, I'm not going to go through the details. We have a booth later. You are interested, you come down, we discuss with you. All right, so this is we have a smart contracts, e-wallets. Okay, we have our own stablecoin exchange. Okay, we can help companies who want to create their own ecosystems. All right, we can do that for you too. An example of our retail and business utilization. We have actually brought in our POS system that can take tokens, transactions. It's downstairs. We have debit card systems. We have mobile mining systems. All right, and everything we make the whole ecosystem very easy for the investors. Okay. This is some of the projects that we did. You can see we have waste to power. We have stem cells. All right, we have agriculture, we have authentication, we have solar panels. So you can see that blockchain is not only for the fintech. Blockchain is for everything. As long as there's a requirement, all right, okay, we can come up with a solution for you. All right, we are also launching our first blockchain franchise. For any one of you who are interested, especially in Indonesia, if you are interested to take our franchise, our blockchain franchise, we are downstairs. You can come and discuss with us. We plan to franchise our blockchain to the Southeast Asia region in the next 3 years. Okay. All right. This is one of the program called BEEP. It's just like your SME seeds funding. Okay. We have within the period of 2 months, we have raised $16 million. This fund will be used to help SME in education, company expansion. For example, a startup to SME, then they go listing, main board listing, for example. We can help them, or even STO projects, because you need some seeds money. On top of that, this is blockchain solutions. We also can help you. We plan to increase this amount from 16 million. All right, likely it's going to close the year with $20 million, but we get very good response from major investors. They are coming to this our company to pump in $100 million. So by 2019, we will have $100 million to fund SME to empower them into blockchain projects. Okay, all right. Remember, we are downstairs. Come and see us. We want to make our blockchain technology becoming the first choice for SME in Asia. Okay, and this is our roadmap. We are only 1 year, so we have a 3-year plan. Next year we'll be triple listing. In fact, in January, our company will be listed in the main board, Singapore, SGX, and we'll be doing the listing in Canada and in the OTC market in US. So practically, we are very rare. In the 2 years company, we become triple listing. Okay, and we have regional expansion. We're growing very, very fast. We are setting up office almost 2 offices per month in the region. All right, so last but not least, just to share with you, we are living in a very disruptive era. The speed of doing things in a certain way, let me tell you, a certain way, not speed of doing things only, in a certain way, and the capital financing determine the success of a company. All right, there will be more billionaires from blockchain in the next 10 years than all the technology revolution that combined the last 30 years. Okay, you can see the faces of the richest people in the world, the top 20, 11 of them are from technologies. Okay, so 10 years from today, I think almost, maybe 17 or 18 are from technology, especially most of them, some of them may be from blockchain. So, okay, that's my slide. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Peter, for the wonderful session. And for now, I would like to call our next presenter, Mr. Sammy Oh, Chief Executive Officer of JobCoin. As the CEO of JobCoin, Mr. Oh is responsible for corporate communication and worldwide business. Mr. Oh is a global marketing expert with 13 years of PR experience from Samsung to Radioville. He held the position of Chief Marketing Officer at Radioville and is also an advisor to a blockchain-based bank services. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Sammy Oh.
Hello everyone, good morning. Good to be here. My name is Sammy Oh. As they just briefly introduced who I am, I'm with a project called JobCoin. And this is my first visit to Bali. It's a lovely place. Thank God that it's not raining. So, and thank you all for being here this morning. I'd like to spend a little bit of your precious time today, as well as mine, to discuss about a couple of very important aspects of blockchain, how blockchain can really influence the current industry as we know it. And towards the end of the session, I will explain to you a little bit about how JobCoin platform works as a platform and as a service. So let's get right into it. Can you play the slides now? Can you go back to? Okay. So, blockchain technology will help to create more wealth. I know that the speaker just before me had mentioned that there's going to be more millionaires and billionaires who are going to be popping up because of this industry. Well, the good news is it's not about where the only wealthy gets wealthier, but it's about how poor can also have a chance to become financially independent, and that's the focus of today's discussion from my side. So how is it going to help create more wealth, for example, for developing nations? Well, I'd like to focus a little bit on the utilization in the insurance industry, as well as microfinancing industry, digital identification, and last but not least, the cryptocurrency as we all know it. So we all know that the characteristic of blockchain is as follows, right? Anyone can participate in a consensus algorithm where third party without centralization, without authority, that everyone can be able to participate in the transferring and storage of value. It also creates a system at a very low cost, which is very efficient, right? From a company's standpoint or from an individual standpoint. It is also very highly secure, safe, and is very transparent as we know it, because we cannot alter what's written in blockchain as a storage. Now, unjust intermediary exploitation and alteration will likely be eliminated because of the power of blockchain. And also, diligent, hardworking employees of all sorts can have a chance to receive their rewards fairly. And also, inexpensively and safely utilize various services from all of the sectors that I've mentioned about in terms of like insurance, digital identification, cryptocurrency, so on and so forth. So it creates a structure that is, if we look at from the context of emerging economies, it can really be beneficial to the poor. I'd like to just briefly touch upon the aspect of three different spaces, which is the payment side, the registration side, and also on the brokerage side, particularly in the African continent. We all know that blockchain is safe and transparent means of payment, so it can really be able to support some of the areas within these parts of the world where some of the financial infrastructure and platform is not so well organized. In terms of registration, there's a lot of paperwork involved, a lot of documentation, a lot of verification and validation of identification and so on and so forth. So it'll really cut all of the hassles and make everything all digitized, and it'll be very, very less time consuming in terms of the process, right? In terms of registration. Also on the brokerage side, if you look at the agricultural situation in Africa, there are a lot of brokers and large agricultural businesses where they take advantage of the market and leaves only little profitable room for the actual farmers that actually does the job, right? So these are some of the ways that how blockchain technology can be able to alleviate some of the poverty-stricken parts of the world. Now, as I mentioned earlier in the slide, when you look at the insurance market or the industry, blockchain may reinvent how the insurance industry really works. Most people in developing nations, as we know, can't get enough healthcare and life insurance services. Premiums may be too expensive. Some of the requirements may be a little bit stringent, so on and so forth. So, if you really look at it, this is mainly due to the fact that there's a high operating cost associated with these sort of life insurance or insurance product as a whole. Since the individual transactions are verified on the line in the blockchain net, a lot of insurance frauds and overcharged premiums can somewhat be lifted off. Now, if we look at the other sector, which is microfinancing, and that's what JobCoin is all about, ladies and gentlemen, which I'm going to talk about later on. But microfinancing itself is not that profitable, so business cannot continue without operating low cost, and transparency is also very, very critical. You don't know how the money is being used, and so on and so forth, right? So as we can see that the application in the microfinancing through the utilization of blockchain technology can also reap benefits. Now, the other sector which is closely associated with identification, blockchain can really help or create new ways of identifying an individual. So it becomes paperless, and it becomes a permanent identification means, right? So if you look at it, roughly speaking, 1.5 billion people, or 20% of the world's population, believe it or not, do not have verifiable identification. So, it's not too surprising when you say there's up to 2 billion people who are unbanked in this world. It is a fact. So, not only there's a limit in terms of what the banks can do, but it's very difficult for people without the identification to be able to vote or participate in some sort of important activity such as that. Now, in terms of the application looking at the cryptocurrency, as I've just noted, there are up to 2 billion unbanked individuals or people without bank accounts in the world. Now, using cryptocurrency, as we all know, these people can be able to use the portable terminal and make necessary, payments, paying for bills. So we know that right now, because of scalability and the speed and the transaction cost, you can't really use cryptocurrency like you use your own national currency. But this is a good potential, and it's a likelihood that this may really unfold in the upcoming years. So, if you look at some of the statistics, 2016, immigrants working abroad remitted a total of about $442 billion to their families back home. All these migrant workers or overseas contractors that work out of their home country, working in certain parts of Asia like South Korea or Japan and stuff like that. So, cryptocurrency is another major application to look at in terms of blockchain technology. Now, JobCoin is a project that I belong to and that we've been working on for the past 2 years. Now, before we talk a little bit about what JobCoin is, I'd like to show a little demo video for you to grasp a better understanding of how JobCoin functions as a platform. If you may play the video, please.
JobCoin's purpose is to create an environment where every employee in the world feels safe to work and able to support various work styles, as well as to provide a payment alternative. Let me explain the situation with Japan as an example. It is said that 30% of Japanese family households and 50% of single households have no savings. A regular employee's average annual income is 4.77 million Japanese yen. A contract employee's average annual income is 1.69 million Japanese yen. There are currently about 20 million contract employees in Japan. According to surveys, there were 90% of people who needed immediate cash for ceremonial occasions, medical and insurance fees, purchase and repairing of home appliances, and hobbies, etc. While a part of the workforce struggle from poverty, it is also true that workers in general find it difficult to make payments for urgent expenses, with only a paycheck once per month. From such situation, multiple consumer loans have become a social issue. Restrictions on bank card loans have been made in the recent years. However, usages of loan sharks and increased amount of personal bankruptcies are concerning. As a way to effectively solve worker problems, a system which allows workers to receive salaries they earn at any time is drawing attention. The system is beneficial for companies as well. For example, according to statistics, there were 3 to 6 times as much job applicant for pay by the day as compared to monthly pay. It allows workers to maintain their motivation towards work and stabilize the workforce, which will contribute to company growth. JobCoin allows this daily payment system to work as an advantage for both the company and employees. and also enables low-income earners to build their personal assets. JobCoin works with the payroll system and illustrates a salary equivalent payment system that allows payment and settlement. By providing this system complementarily to companies that introduced JobCoin, employees will be able to receive JobCoin within their salary equivalent amount as compensation of their labor. Companies are able to easily adopt this system since employees are expected to repay the amount that had been accepted and received through JobCoin by deduction from their total salary. This procedure is a patented business model. It allows employees to flexibly manage their funds and for companies to increase hiring opportunities that will stabilize the workforce, cut costs for hiring processes, and create a foundation for company growth. How will payments through JobCoin work as an advantage for employees? Migrant workers are able to safely transfer to their family members back home since JobCoin does not require a bank account and is offered with an affordable remittance fee. Also, we are planning to introduce JobCoin as a method of payment that works as a legal currency or credit card and cryptocurrency worldwide. JobCoin, by adopting technology that enables real-time payment, solved the problem of the current virtual currency settlement. We are currently working on founding a JobCoin payment that allows affordable remittance fees through blockchain application, association with cryptocurrency exchange, and establishment of own, and working with major financial institutions. Stores all around the world are waiting to introduce this innovative payment system, and JobCoin is expecting a stable yet rapid expansion and development. Last but not least, it contributes to asset building for low-income earners. Buy-in from companies and distribution to employees will contribute in JobCoin's asset value increase. This will allow personal investors and institutional investors to recognize great value in JobCoin as a way to assemble their assets. Buy-in from companies, distribution to employees, and buy-in from investors will contribute to JobCoin's increased value in asset price and substantial position as an ingenious cryptocurrency.
As the video just demonstrated, it's an advanced wage payment platform for companies to integrate it into their existing payroll system. And from the employee standpoint, whether you are a part-time employee or full-time or contract or a migrant worker, as the video just said, most of the time you only get paid once a month, towards the end of the month or in the early part of the month. Now people are sometimes encountered with various situations where they need financing. Now you could either use your credit card or you could take out a loan at a bank with very high interest rates, right? So this is where JobCoin comes in, where if the employer decides to have an alternative wage payment solution to their fiat currency bank account, they can obviously use this to fulfill their employees' compensation, monetary compensation. So JobCoin will be popularized in conjunction with introduction to pay-as-you-go system. Now, you may be thinking, oh, what if you pay them in advance and they disappear and they don't show up for work? Well, if you really think about it, this is payment in advance that is salary equivalent, so you only are entitled to get faster payment based on the hours and the days that you've already have put in. So if you get paid towards the end of the month, and this is the second week, you are entitled to receive that 2 weeks worth of payment anyways, so you're getting that in advance in JobCoin cryptocurrency. So if you look at the JobCoin economic sphere as the diagram illustrates on the screen, this is how it flows. So to construct a JobCoin economic zone by directly charging the consideration labor to either the smartphone or the prepaid card, which I think if you recall the video, it showed a little credit card looking smart card that allows for employees to receive payment or to be able to pay for various services. So this, from the company's standpoint, what did they gain out of this? Well, it's a powerful tool for recruiting a lot of employees because, and also it can the retention rate of, because people they resign from their jobs, like if they're unsatisfied with something. Right now, this will be one of the attractive elements to retaining some of the talents that are very important to the company, right? So we're in the middle of actually establishing our own private blockchain, and we're going to be deploying hyper-distributed small servers that can be installed in private homes, etc., and companies. More nodes to be put in the existing node network. So this will obviously benefit that. Now, last but not least, in terms of social contribution, we are, by the way, sorry for not introducing myself in the beginning of the speech, but JobCoin is based out of Japan. So our team, a lot of team members, we're all in Japan. We have a global team. We have some folks that come from Korea side and also from Singapore. We have a technology partner that's based in Singapore as well. So we are in the middle of putting together our large event in Tokyo in early of 2019, where we're trying to create a theme of philanthropy through the utilization of the blockchain technology. So the social contribution is a big factor of JobCoin's mission. So we plan to host a conference, and also we're going to be inviting a lot of mass media, business leaders, ambassadors, and IT business leaders and students and so on and so forth to support some of the water developments in Cambodia and some of the Africa's water pollution improvement project, as well as support operation of orphanages in Kenya, etc. So these are some of our contribution roadmap down the road. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. If you have any questions, I do have a booth downstairs, so feel free to drop by and we can grab coffee and talk more about whatever that you'd like to talk about. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sami, for explaining the payment wage system. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now take a short break, tea break downstairs below at the exhibitionist level. I request you all to be back in your seat in half an hour from now. Thank you very much. acting as the CEO and the co-founder of Indodax as the largest Indonesian digital access exchange, which currently facilitates trading any crypto assets for more than 1.4 million members in Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Oscar Darmawan.
Hello, good morning everyone. Please let me introduce myself. My name is Oscar Darmawan. Currently I'm the CEO of Indodax, which is the biggest Indonesian digital asset exchange. We have people to transaction between rupiah and digital asset. Currently we have more than 40 pair of digital asset in transaction in Indonesia, with more than 1.5 million members registered in our site. And just to let you guys know, our headquarters is actually in Bali. So I would like to welcome everyone who coming to Bali for this BlockBali event. As one of the company that registered in Indonesia, we really thank you for all you guys coming all the way from wherever you are, coming to Indonesia, to Bali, to come to this event. Later on, I will try to give some presentation, very basic presentation about what's happening in Indonesia, and also we will tell you about actually how's the Indonesia ecosystem in terms of the digital way. And I will, if let's say after my presentation, you guys have any question about Indonesia ecosystem or anything, please drop me any question. So, just to give some background, Indodax actually started as one of the pioneer of blockchain startup in Southeast Asia. We started at 2013. Back then, Bitcoin is still very cheap. But now, people call it bear market, but I think now it's still good price, because when we start in that time, Bitcoin is just about $500. Now it's about almost $6,000. It's 10 times. So for me, it's still bull market. Yeah. So as today's topic that the BlockBali given to me about the public blockchain, I believe you guys know about the public blockchain and private blockchain. This year, many people about talking about private blockchain. They say private blockchain will change the world. They say private blockchain will really the true blockchain. But for me, I really thinking public blockchain still give a solution to many problems. And actually, public blockchain is better in terms of transparency. Public blockchain is better in terms of usage, and for other startup, especially for startup, to really implement private blockchain in their startup or in their company is something that I think is not really right, because actually blockchain is supposed to be transparent, supposed to be distributed. So actually, I'm really more into fans of public blockchain instead of private blockchain. So, well, back then since 2009, since the blockchain start to enter this internet market, we know until now a lot of company has been start experiment with blockchain. Now a lot of bank mentioned to the public that they have a prototype of blockchain. A lot of company doing blockchain stuff because it's cool. Yeah, many people doing blockchain only because they are thinking it's cool. Many company doing blockchain only because they want to push their share price. But I know behind of that, many companies still really doing blockchain because they really understand how this technology will change the world. And I really believe this technology will change the world. Well, talking about bear market, I would like to give you some facts that I believe everyone in here already know. I understand now the global cap market for all token public blockchain now is only $184 billion, which is very small compared with early January 2018, which is $795 billion. because it goes down a lot from 700s from almost $800 billion into almost $200 billion. So all people talking about bear market, and all people become very desperate. So as all our members, we have 1.5 billion members. So I believe you guys understand how every day my WhatsApp have a message asking me why Bitcoin goes down a lot. Yeah. But you guys need to, I believe we all understand, if we compare it 1 year ago, we compare it in 2017, January 2017, the global cap market for token public blockchain is only $17 billion US, which is now already grow by more than 10 times, from $17 billion to $148 billion in 1 year, 1.5 years. So I really think now it's really bear market compared with the early year, but compared with last year, we are on the bull market. In 2016, there are only 644 token or coin in the public blockchain. In the 2017, there are 1,335. In the 2018 now, there is 2,032. This is the only token public blockchain that registered in the coin market cap. I believe everyone in here, maybe most of you, already try to create token blockchain, already try to create some coin in the blockchain or something else. So I believe you guys understand, not all token blockchain is registered in the coin market cap, because coin market cap has a specification how they can list your token, how they can list your public blockchain. So that's why I believe now there are even more than 3,000 token blockchain actually in the market. Only 2,000 is registered in the coin market cap. Well, of course, this is the top public blockchain now. We can see the Bitcoin Cash. We just have some drama these 2 days. Yeah. Monero, Litecoin, Dash, Ethereum, Stellar, Tron, Cardano, they are still the top in the public blockchain. If we talk about regulators, in the 2009 until now, we can see a lot of change in the regulation. Just talk about 2 years ago. No, 2 years, 3 years ago. In that time, all countries talking about how to ban Bitcoin. All countries talking about how to basically tell everyone in the community that this is illegal and this is Ponzi scheme, because most regulators don't understand about this innovation. But we see what happened now. Now we see that based on the map that I can show you here, all countries have some kind of like guidance, have some kind of like regulation about Bitcoin usage, about some of them even have about ICO related, some of them have guidance about mining, and even the tax, they already have a guideline for the tax. We can see that almost all countries now have about green color, only a little red here, a little yellow there, and in my country it's a yellow color. Yeah. A bit sad, but still better than red. Now, in terms of legality of Bitcoin and the token of the blockchain, about 84% is unrestricted. Only 8% now is restricted, and still about 8% is illegal, meaning that we really cannot do anything with Bitcoin there. The red color is still very small, and I know that, like in the Vietnam, the one that red color, it will have some guidance in the near future. So I believe slowly the red color will dismiss one by one. Hopefully by next year or in the following year, we can see all change into yellow color for the red color. Yeah. Next. Yeah. let's we talk about Indonesia. Indonesia is one of the, I can say one of a big country in the world that has been not seen by outside people outside of Indonesia. Whenever I go outside of Indonesia, let's say I go to China or let's say I go to Europe, when I tell them I'm from Indonesia, normally they will ask me one question: where is Indonesia? Yeah. Or they will ask me other question. Isn't Indonesia near Bali country? Because many people thinking Bali is another country, and all people in the world know Bali, but nobody know about Indonesia. So after that, normally I will explain to them that Indonesia actually one of the big country in the world. We have 260 million people in Indonesia. Then they're surprised. And after I show them the map of Indonesia, they even surprised because I don't know why Indonesia has been hidden from Google Map. Nobody see Indonesia map. Yeah. That's what's happening outside of Indonesia. So all of you that not Indonesian but you know where is Indonesian and you know what's happening in Indonesia, then you are one of the smartest in the world. Yeah. So Indonesia actually is a very interesting country. We are archipelago island. We have more than 13,000 islands. Yeah. And in terms of population, we are top 5 in the world. We have about 265 million people. And in terms of internet users, we are not so good. We are only 50% of our population have an internet. But our mobile user is bigger than our population. Some of data say that our mobile user is bigger than 265 million. But based on the other data, they say that our mobile user is about 150 million. So basically, the average is around 177 million people actually have mobile users. And in terms of social media, we have 120 million people. So if you see the statistic of Twitter or the statistic of Facebook users, you always can see Indonesia on the top 5. Even they say that Jakarta is one of the most noisy city in terms of Twitter user. So Indonesia digital society is quite big. Next. Yeah. This is the data about the device usage. 60% of them using the smartphone, and television is still very popular in Indonesia. I know in other countries, many people do not really have a television anymore, but in Indonesia, in our family room, we still have television. Next. This something interesting about the attitude about the Indonesian people. Indonesian people always love to try the new thing. Yeah. We like to try the new thing. We don't scare when there is something new in the innovation. So like the first time Facebook coming, the first time Twitter coming, or the first time peer-to-peer lending coming to Indonesia market, or even ride sharing. Our community accept it, even though sometimes our regulator not accept it. Just to let you guys know, peer-to-peer lending in the beginning of time, many of them thinking is an illegal activity. But now peer-to-peer lending has been legal by Indonesia regulators. Ride sharing in Indonesia has been banned for one day. So in the morning, our government, one of the government said that ride sharing is totally illegal in the country. Then in the afternoon of time, thanks to our president, suddenly become legal. So we can see the attitude here, meaning that our regulators actually quite supportive for innovation. It's same thing with Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been declared legal many times in Indonesia, but in the same time, there is a regulator that say Bitcoin is not yet legal, so it's still positive. Still positive. Yeah. But nowadays, I meet quite a lot of regulators that say that Bitcoin actually is starting to get little legal. So there is an improvement of Indonesia government. And in terms of blockchain, all regulators have one voice now, that blockchain is one of the innovation that Indonesia need to start to get into it. So in terms of blockchain innovation, in terms of a blockchain ecosystem, it's very welcome in Indonesia. So if you guys have any idea about how your company, blockchain company, can really help, especially help Indonesian people, help our Indonesian community, please come to Indonesia, do your innovation. As long as you not do something illegal, I think our regulator will support you. Then, next. But something other interesting about Indonesia market community is only 36% has bank account. So this is the real challenge in Indonesia. The real challenge in Indonesia, only few people have bank account. Because we are archipelago island. Only people in Sumatra, Java, and Kalimantan have bank account mostly. But if we talk about other islands, even in Bali, some people in the north of Bali do not have bank account. So this is the real challenge of Indonesia: how to make all people have become the financial inclusion. How to have all people to have access to the bank account. So, let's say we talk about credit card. Only about 1% to 1% to 5%, the latest data, have a credit card. So all people in here, if you talk about shopping online, the shopping online in Indonesia is still, they do it through 2 ways mostly. One is bank transfer. Second, because they don't have bank account, they do it through COD. Maybe in your country there is no such thing as COD, but in Indonesia there is COD. Meaning you buy it online, but later on the courier need to come to the person, then they give you cash. We are cash society. Indonesia is cash society. Indonesia is really cash society. But that's why, next. That's why later I will discuss it about how actually blockchain is really fit into Indonesia market. In terms of data before, and in terms of how Indonesia government thinking about our blockchain, in Indonesia token blockchain has been classified as commodity. It's been classified as commodity. Don't try to classify digital asset as currency. When you try to classify your token blockchain as currency, I believe it will really become the huge challenge for your company. In Indonesia now, most people who understand about blockchain and all the stuff is still very limited. The medium level of understanding is still medium to low level. Not many people understand how to do innovation through blockchain. Not many engineers know well about blockchain and how to program it and so on. So still, the most participants is speculators. And I would like to highlight one more time. There is a lot of high percentage of unbanked people in Indonesia. And the other challenge is because there is a lot of misunderstanding from the media and some of the regulators. So this is the true challenge, the misunderstanding from the Indonesian media. And I believe you guys understand how media works. For media, if they report something bad, it means good traffic for them. If you report something good, it means low traffic for them. So some media actually tend to try to misunderstanding about blockchain. So when you have something good, normally they still make it into something bad. So it's good traffic. But I see a lot of changes now. This year I can see a lot of media start become very neutral about blockchain. It's start to happening. In Indonesia, start a lot of change happened this year. But because of the Bitcoin price really high in the early of year and now become really low, not comparing with last year. So still people, a lot of people actually they have a very bad feeling about this Bitcoin and all the blockchain stuff. But I think human is always good at adapting. Human is always good at adapting. Maybe now we are still shocked seeing Bitcoin price around $5,000. I think if Bitcoin manages to stay at $5,000 until next year, I think all people will get used to it. Well, now let's talk about Indonesia. Indonesia is a country with young demographic. Our average is below 30 years old. So in terms of Indonesian people, actually I'm old. I'm 33. Because the average in Indonesia is below 30 years. Yeah. So I'm really sorry for everyone who come here more than 30 years, same as me. But in Indonesia, you are very old. Yeah. In here, next. Yeah. In here, people is a high percentage of unbanked people, and people have a better access to internet than to banks, based on the statistic. So, if you meet farmer in Indonesia, sometimes they use smartphone. Many of them use smartphone, but they don't have bank account. Yeah. So that's why I know that there is some project in Indonesia as well in terms of blockchain. They try to targeting farmer people. They try to have farmer people get access to the blockchain and to the financial sectors, which is a good project, I think. And I think the project just get endorsement by Amazon. Yeah. And yeah. But another challenge that make a good thing for the blockchain sector in Indonesia, because in Indonesia there are a lot of corruption in many industries. Yeah? There is a lot of corruption in many industries, and if we talk about blockchain main purpose is to make everything transparent, is to make everything distributed, so we can trust the system, and between institutions that can working each other, they can trust the blockchain because the blockchain cannot lie. Yeah? So I think that's why Indonesia become very good place to make an experiment of the blockchain, and it can have give people to the access to the unbanked people. Yeah? And Indonesia people is very welcome with innovation. And in terms of regulators, in here regulators is quite friendly about blockchain innovation. So Indonesia is a good place for innovation. In terms of Bitcoin, actually lately there is changes in terms of how government will regulate Bitcoin in Indonesia. As I mentioned, Bitcoin in Indonesia is more considered as commodity instead of currency. So in the future, Ministry of Trade and the Future of Exchange Supervisory Board, which is BlockBali, will try to come up with a framework and regulation how actually to regulate this token public blockchain. So I know in some country the one who regulate it is a central bank. I know in some country the one who regulate it is financial regulators. But in our country, the one who regulate token blockchain is a Ministry of Trade because it classified as commodity. But in terms of financial regulators, which is OJK, actually OJK also just released guidance about last month about how actually startup in Indonesia can get involved with token blockchain. I think after this we will have a good panel with Indonesia regulator. That I think will be interesting panel that you guys can understand well about Indonesia regulators. Yeah. Next. Well, I think that's my presentation. I always believe we're going to the moon. Yeah. Yeah. So thank you so much. If you guys have any question, do we still have time for question? No? Okay. And then I welcome you guys. If you have any question, please find me in front and ask me anything. Yeah. Thank you so much. One more time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Oscar, for the insightful session. Ladies and gentlemen, we now have a very interesting panel discussion you've all been waiting for. I would like to call upon Pak Dhani Baskara, CEO of Vexanium, to take the stage. Mr. Dhani will be the moderator for this panel session. I now call our panelists, Pak Alvin Taulu, Head of Licensing Subdivision, Directorate of Regulating, Licensing and Supervision of Fintech, the Indonesian Financial Service Authority, Otoritas Jasa Keuangan. Pak Nyoman Sastra, Financial Forensic Researcher, Financial Transaction Reports and Analysis Center, Intrak, and Dr. Edi Priyopambudi, Assistant to Deputy Minister of Monetary and Balance Payment, Coordinating Ministry for Economic Affairs, to come and take the stage. And we can begin the panel session. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the panelists.
Ya, selamat siang semuanya. Good afternoon, everyone. So today our session will be panel discussion with Pak Nyoman, Pak Alvin, and Dr. Edi. In this panel discussion, we have some questions that we want to ask with the panelists. Yeah. First is our question is to Pak Nyoman Sastra. Yeah, Pak Nyoman Sastra is Financial Forensic Research and Financial Transaction Report Analysis Center. So first question is for Pak Nyoman is how to protect business from criminal using the technology. Yeah. Okay. So from the panelists, they want to presentation first, and later we will be discussing. Yeah. Jadi pertama kali kita akan lanjutkan ke pemaparan dari para panelis. Mereka akan membicarakan apa yang akan mereka sampaikan dahulu, lalu nanti kita lanjutkan dengan panel diskusi. Ya.
Good morning. Is it morning? Oh, nah, my watch is in Jakarta 10:30. I think this is not my presentation. Can someone help me to my presentation? So, thank you very much to have me here, and it's very pleasure for me to explain to you in front of you about our views from OJK about blockchain and cryptocurrency or crypto technology. It's a bit awkward also that because this is Bali, some of you wearing a suit and tie, while I will wear something like this. These people very formal, but it's Bali. Let's make it fun. So, again, my name is Alvin. I'm from the Directorate of the Supervision, Regulation, and Licensing of Financial Technology in OJK. What OJK regulate about fintech?
is a bit different with this kind of topic. Our focus mainly on fintech peer-to-peer lending. But what is the relation with the blockchain and cryptocurrency? So here's we would like to give the background first. Okay, the first slide, please. So, if talking about the crypto technology and the blockchain, it cannot be differentiated. Next aja, langsung aja. So, based on our research, if talking about crypto technology, actually it's about the technology about the safety information protocol. For example, I know all of you, some of you really aware about the crypto, really aware about blockchain, but some of you still not. So let me give you the example. If talking about the crypto technology, there is a protocol in. Can I have this? Oh, this one. Okay. Talking about the crypto technology, this is about the safety protocol, how to ensure this kind of technology will not get attack or malware from the outside. This technology has also what we call as a public key and private key. For example, the first one, read one. Read one is actually the name of my staff, and Nabila is my staff also over there. Hi Nabila. For example, she would like to have a kind of to open to buy the crypto Bitcoin, for example. So Nabila has the public key. The public key itself of Nabila is encrypted also. But in this one, when they have this to the system, Nabila has another kind of key, what we call as a private key of the system itself. This is what we call as the safety protocol of the crypto technology, public key and private key. I think this is something very basic about it, but this is something we need to understand first. The second one, next. No, this one. Langsung yang lainnya. Yang ketiga. Based on that, if talking about crypto technology, it cannot differentiate it between blockchain also. Sorry, this is the presentation in Indonesia because I thought some of you understand Indonesia, but let me explain English. If talking about blockchain itself, actually it's like a distributed ledger of each server, but is connected each other through the special protocol to ensure the data is very safety and secure. But not only that, everything really recorded and cannot be replaced, cannot be make a fake one. And the amazing thing from this kind of technology, everybody in the system, in the server, is the server also. So it's like democratization of the server about that. So the blockchain concept is introduced by Satoshi Nakamoto in 2008 and implemented on 2009 as a part of they want to make the first one is Bitcoin. Next. So our stand as a regulator, especially for financial industry, we have some research about empirical study. Bitcoin, for example, Bitcoin as a currency. So, if talking about the background of this, Bitcoin really move on and not only very growing up on the capital market crisis on 2007-2008. Most of the people at the time really don't trust at the central bank, and at the time also to the fiat money. And finally, Bitcoin at the time was invented. Not only that, to make sure that government does not interfere and control the supply and demand of the money at the time. So, based on the statement above, Bitcoin as a currency, we really get the research also that government and central bank have tendency to make the money oversupply. This is the background of the Bitcoin and blockchain. But the underlying of the fiat money is about trust, paper, and also paper. At the same time, there was also the money is very expensive for the credit card, origination from the banks. If someone wants to lend the money from the banks, basically the money is very, very expensive. So this is the reason why Bitcoin as a currency, the blockchain as a system, the trust to the government is very, very low. Central bank have a tendency to make the oversupply the money. So here's happened after that. Next. But we really have a research also that Bitcoin as not as a currency. So every treatment of the law in every country is different. Not only is in Indonesia, in every country is different, depend on the common law or the civil law. Goldman Sachs also stated that Bitcoin can be seen as a currency, financial asset, or commodity. But we also see that most of the users of the Bitcoin treated Bitcoin as an asset, as mentioned by Oscar before here. So, but not only that, some have said Bitcoin as or the cryptocurrency as the investment instrument, which will not give the negative impact to the monetary stability and economic stability. So, but the most important that the purpose, the beginning purpose of to make the blockchain cryptocurrency is how to make sure that to reduce the third party of this kind of the system. How to reduce the fee of transaction, leverage the transparency, to ensure the settlement time, reduce the default risk. So, as a system, we have to see that blockchain is very, very powerful and will be the next of the industrial revolution 4.0 in Indonesia. Next. So, if talking about the crypto technology argument, as I said before, the government and central bank have tendency to make the money oversupply. This is argument. Yeah. But not only that, there is a lot of fee of the credit card and bank charge very, very expensive. But the most important that the encryption system is centralized. So based on that argument, they say that the security of this kind is very, very low. Next. So if talking about the the ICO, crypto technology, this is what happened from 2014 until 2017. A lot of ICO in this world. Tesos, Filecoin, EOS, Paragon, Polkadot, DAO, so many kinds, and it's racing all the time. Even in Indonesia, what else? Vexanio, Tokenomics, Luno, so many kinds. Next. So let me explain to you about, if talking after SEO, but we need also to find out what happened to the Bitcoin and the blockchain, crypto technology itself. This is the journey of the Bitcoin from 2017 until now. The first one is the one who make this. This is the what happened, but not only that, the price of the Bitcoin itself is what we call as uptrend. Some of it is going down. Yes, it's going down, but it's uptrend like this. Always like this. Until December 2017, this is the highest of the price of the Bitcoin. But right now it's different, yeah, Oscar, yeah. Like this. Tokenomics also like this. Sorry, I invest in Tokenomics. Oh my God. Hopeless. Hopeless. Oh, there is a hope. Hopefully. Next. Oh, next. So this is the funny story of the if talking about the story of the Bitcoin. The first transaction of the Bitcoin in the world is someone, I don't know who's the name, but someone to buy the pizza. Aslo. He used Bitcoin less than 1 penny and paid the Bitcoin for $1,000. 1,000 Bitcoin. 10,000. I think that's the most richest pizza vendor who get the Bitcoin. Can you say 10,000 Bitcoin for the pizza? Wow, I want to do that also. 10,000 Bitcoin for ayam penyet. Yeah, so if talking about the history, it's very, very funny. Nobody knows about what happened to this kind of things. No underlying, everybody's still confused. What is this? But there is a hope for this kind of a new kind of technology for the economical in the world. So next. So if talking about the mechanism of the Bitcoin circulation, this is the mechanism. All the miners using the based on our this one, use the server to mining the Bitcoin. This is very theoretical, but the most important that all the system is really peer-to-peer, from someone to someone. They use the Bitcoin, they mine Bitcoin, they get Bitcoin. It's really peer-to-peer. It's like our regulation also, fintech peer-to-peer lending. But this is a peer-to-peer Bitcoin crypto technology. Next. Because of the mining, if you see that, because it happened also to the electricity. In Canada, you can see they already spent 18 megawatts. The highest in China, 111 megawatts. And I think in Indonesia, I don't know in Indonesia, Oscar, is there any research about electricity usage in Indonesia because of the mining? We don't know, but it creates another economical aspect. mining, electricity, they buy server, they buy so many kind, yeah, give the benefit also to the country. Next, this is what we want to see, that if talking about mining, now the terminal of mining is quite different. Gold mining, you digging the soil, you got gold. Corporate mining, you digging the ground, you get coal. But now, different. Virtual mining. You can see this is corporate mining, this is happened in China. And individual mining, now in Indonesia, you can buy from Bukalapak, Tokopedia, just to buy the server is only 90 million rupiah. But how to do this mining, how to do the mining? Simple. We need the electricity, we need the device, we need the cryptocurrency and the fiat money to exchange the cryptocurrency. Next. This is from Oscar actually. The tokenomics sales. No need. He will explain. Oh, next. So, what is the difference between cryptocurrency and e-money? Based on the transaction, Bitcoin using internet, using the internet, but e-money using the device such as mobile phone or special devices from a merchant. Apa namanya tuh yang gini-gini di Alfamart? EDC. Gila, saya lupa. So EDC, mobile phone, that's for the e-money. From the value itself, derived from the supply and demand, and the system and the trust to the system itself. But for the e-money, same. You got e-money 10,000 rupiah is the same with the fiat money 10,000 rupiah. The identity of the usage of the crypto, pseudonymous. You can find that person, not anonymous, but pseudonymous. So, but we can track who's that one. But for the e-money, Pak Nyoman will explain, because they use the Financial Action Task Force. We don't know who used the money, but the flow of the money, they use anti-money laundering. Who published the crypto? Yeah, because of the mining, the blockchain itself, based on supply and demand. E-money, central bank. Who's the publisher? By blockchain system. But e-money, legal entity Indonesia, banks, who create the e-money, something like that. Regulation and supervision. This is something very important. Back again. Regulation or supervision, this is very interesting. Until now, crypto technology is not supervised or there is no regulation about that. Actually, BlockBali is being tried to make the regulation about that. I was part of that meeting, but I don't know what is the current condition. But if money, clear, supervised and regulated by authority, especially Bank Indonesia, Central Bank. Next. So, if talking about the crypto technology, what is the benefit for the economical aspect in Indonesia? From OJK, we believe this, not talking about crypto technology, talking about blockchain itself. We believe that blockchain is the future of the industrial revolution 4.0 will change everything from the economical and financial aspect. But not only that, to minimize the economic deadweight loss. For example, like this. What is economic deadweight loss? Tokenomics was produced and published in Singapore, right? Everybody buy the tokenomics through the system, but using the banking system in Singapore. They got the money, they pay the tax and everything. But in Indonesia, we don't have any regulation about that. We don't have specific regulation on the crypto technology. If someone would like to have the ICO, see, we lost everything. We lost the tax, we lost the income, the investment after about this. This is what we call the economic deadweight loss. But not only that, this crypto also, we believe, to enhance the speed and the volume of trade through the e-commerce, global e-commerce. You know very well about the remittance. If using the blockchain, very fast, zero fee about that. And number 4, the most important for us, that we believe that blockchain and crypto technology will increase the potential of this country to have the tax income, and the most important that reduce the capability of the government to monitor about the anti-money laundering transaction, terrorism transaction, something like that. So this is what we call as a benefit of the crypto technology. Next. So, like I said, like I explained to you before, this is what we call the industrial revolution. What happened? If talking about the first financial industrial revolution until now, you know, the fourth industrial revolution, cyber physical system, merging of real and virtual worlds. So talking about not only about it, but we believe blockchain will be the future of financial industrial revolution. Next. No. Terus. So this is the legal aspect of the technology in several countries. In USA until Belgium, something like that. And this country, not only G7, G10 or G20, most of the country already regulate the crypto technology in every country. And the interesting part, if talking about the financial literacy, even G10, G7 or G20, the literacy rate in those countries very high. That's why, while the literacy and inclusiveness of the people about the financial is very high, they're very easy to regulate the crypto and the blockchain in that country. Next, like in Asia itself, only Japan who regulate the crypto itself. Indonesia, we are still don't have the regulation. But you know, if talking about that, the financial inclusion in Indonesia still is very low. That's why we believe this kind of method also will change the behavior in Indonesia, the lifestyle, and hopefully it will increase the financial inclusion in Indonesia. Next. So, this is the legal aspect. Cryptocurrency, this is money or asset or something like that. It's clearly stated by the law in Indonesia. The currency in Indonesia, by the law, only rupiah. Through money, through the paper and nickel and e-money. Clearly stated, everybody must use rupiah as a currency. So, what I'm trying to say is, the crypto as a currency doesn't has a solid law in Indonesia to be admitted as a currency. Clearly stated. So, by the law, crypto is not a money. Next. And the regulation of the currency from Bank Indonesia, Central Bank, Bank of Indonesia. How about crypto as a security asset or effect? Clearly stated also that in Indonesia, by the law number 8 of 1995 about the capital market, crypto currency cannot be admitted also as a security asset. Why? Because no dividend, there is no shareholder over there. There is no legal entity, clearly legal entity about that. So meaning, cryptocurrency doesn't has a solid also law to be admitted as a effect or security asset. Clearly about that. Next one. How about commodity? Actually, this is a long journey. Our discussion with Bapepti, PPATK, and the financial, all the financial industry, based on law number 10, 2011, that what is commodity? Commodity clearly stated as all goods, rights, every interest, derivatives can be traded. It can be the subject of the considered as a commodity. But not only that, the trading of through the electronic system can be used the device and electronic procedure. Cryptocurrency also, we realize that this is unconscious goods that can be traded and exchanged as a cryptocurrency with other commodity through the electronic system. So, based on our research, crypto as a commodity has a solid law to be treated as a crypto commodity in Indonesia. So this is the law about the commodity. The next one. Next. So I think this stop dulu. Back again, commodity. I think this is from our side to share about you about the legal status of the cryptocurrency and blockchain as a technology. I think my friend Pak Nyoman and Pak will explain more detail about it. Thank you very much.